Hey, I'm Shan,
And I'm Troy,
and we are going on a little murder road trip.
where every Sunday we take you to a new state alphabetically to tell you the story of murder, spooks, and everything in between.
Yes, join us every Sunday for bad jokes, murder, and ghosts. It doesn't get much better than that.
So grab your snackies, get on in, and we're going to go on a murder road trip.
Some
Okay.
comedic gold.
All right,
comedy
recording
gold.
is in progress, so let the funny flow.
Because up
Megan?
until now, it was just, well, I'm on the spot. I
We were
can't
just bitching about
life
us. Yeah,
and stupid people who are everywhere.
and they
I
were
just-
looking for jobs.
Can't swing a dead cat without hitting one of them.
That's
So
right.
true. So true. Speaking of demons, my child this weekend was the fucking worst.
Oh no,
He is diving
he's going
into
through
those
with
threes.
something, isn't he?
He is
It's been a few
diving.
weeks.
It's been yeah. But usually, like, I'm fairly patient with him. Like, it takes a
Mhm.
lot. It takes a lot to push me over the edge. And boy, oh boy, Saturday, he didn't even push me over the edge. He just hurled me over the edge.
Just Thelma and Louised it.
Yeah, just pedal to the floor and let's dive off this cliff together.
Oh no.
Well, the last couple of weeks, schedules and everything have been kind of thrown off for everyone.
And
So
Yeah,
which
kids don't do
really
well with
fucks
that.
them. No, they
Yeah.
don't. They really get fucked up if you
Yep.
fuck up their schedule. But I'm just like, Jesus, I need a fucking break.
Yeah.
So Saturday he stayed overnight with grandma and grandpa. I got stoned and went to bed at 9:30.
Nice. Nice.
Mom, if you're listening, no, I didn't do that. I read a
No.
Bible verse and
It bored you to death, so that's why you fell asleep.
so I fell asleep.
I
Ridiculous. I went for Deuteronomy, really gets you in
there you go.
really puts you to sleep.
I tried new gummies, as I think you know. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
I
yeah,
showed you the
yeah.
pictures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those okay, so those of you listening who didn't hear this first part of this first story,
Because you're not
I-
all on our group chat. We
you
only
should
have
on the group
300.
chat. If you wanted to, we could talk about this on the group chat, but
Yeah.
not yet. So I tried some other gummies that took 3 hours to take
Yeah.
effect. So like just as I'm about to go to bed. And then I got up the next morning at 8 o'clock and I was still like, whoa, like I was afraid I was gonna, fall into the sink brushing my teeth. So it was a
Hate when
Saturday
that
night, so
happens.
it's fine. It's not like I'd go to work. Or
It was a
anything.
Tuesday at noon.
It was a Saturday.
She has a
But-
problem and we're looking for help.
I'm sure there's a program somewhere that I
NA,
could afford.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, so then I found these other gummies. I went to the smoke shop. They're legal, everyone.
Smoke
I
shop's
went
got
to
the
the smoke
good
shop.
shit.
I got the other ones at the smoke shop too. The
Well-
giggly did not make me giggle. They made me sleepy, not giggly.
I love how you pantomime sleeping like we
CB,
weren't gonna
not
know.
giggity.
I wasn't giggly. I was sleepy.
Yeah.
Not giggly, sleepy.
Yep. So I got these other ones that said sativa on them. So I know they weren't indica, which it equals couch. So that's how I know
Okay.
the difference.
Got it.
Okay.
So they were sativa. So I got these. And
That sounds like a sugar supplement.
Yeah,
yeah, I know
stevia.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Stevia. Okay.
I put that in my coffee sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
But
like it.
I like it better than the other fake
I-
sugars.
yeah.
Anyway, So Greg and I actually split one because it said if you're starting out, just take a half of one. Took a half of one, and it was probably like a half an hour, and I started to feel, I think something's going on. Oh yeah, my head feels a little like heavy right here, and we were watching riff tracks, and
Yeah. The best thing to watch when you're
Did you turn your little light on that's behind you and just stare at it for a while?
I did that when I went to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I have two. I have one like this, and then I have another one that's purple, and it's just dots that go like this.
Oh, God.
And
Oh, God.
rotate all over. And so I was like, yeah, that's cool. But before I let the dogs out, between riff tracks and going to bed with the lights, I went outside to let the dogs out, and I look up and it's snowing. And I looked up and it was pitch black sky, but I can see the snowflakes coming at me. And it looked like the beginning of Star Wars.
Yep.
So I pulled out my phone and I took a video. I called Greg out. Come on, it's like Star Wars. And he's like, I think the gummies are working.
That's amazing.
But it was fun. And I just looked at the video again today, and I'm like, it's actually really cool. And I'm totally sober.
I get that sometimes, like when I've been driving and it's snowing.
Yeah, it's
and
mesmerizing.
you don't have a lot of headlights coming at you.
Yeah. You're like in the country road and the snow is just flying at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, also, I want to mention to the people watching, listening, you won't care. Watching, I am green today. I don't know. I have
With
got a white.
envy.
I have a white light here, but I'm green.
There's
My
that
ring
comedic
light.
Mine
gold
was
we were
kind of
talking
green
about.
earlier too. I had to adjust a few things because I was like, oh, I look green today.
Well, I thought that it would get used to it. Like Zoom would start fixing stuff over as it sat there. Not so far. But
It's
yeah, my
not
ring light
gonna
died,
work.
took a shit. And so I bought another one, but it's not coming until tomorrow. So next time we record, I'll have it.
Woohoo.
Anyway, we should probably get going as I don't want to dilly-dally too long because we want to finish this one.
Ooh, I have a blizzard in the freezer.
I have a donut. I bought a donut. We went to grocery shopping on Sunday. I bought a donut.
Did you go grocery shopping hungry?
No.
Or
No,
partially
just-
stoned?
I'm rarely hungry anymore because I'm on the Manjaro.
You were working with you were dealing with Barb for a bit, weren't you?
I was dealing with Barb. Actually, that was Sunday.
Yeah.
How many candy wrappers did you find?
No candy wrappers, surprisingly.
How many?
But
we did find
mice.
Culvers.
We did find a empty bag of Culvers. You guys, what we did is cleaned out my mother's car. Well, we didn't clean it out. It's still a pigsty. We took my mother back to her car, which is parked at my house, and said, this is your chance. Go through, get whatever you want out of there. She wanted everything. She wanted calendars from like the 1900s. I'm like, what are you going to do with those? Oh, I read them sometimes. She hugs them.
Okay.
Holds them like a baby and goes, I read them sometimes.
First of all, Amy.
Yeah.
Don't ever say that again. The 1900s?
Well, it was 24 years ago.
Are we like looking for Victorian children? Like what the shit?
Well, that would be the 19th century, right? Which means 1800s.
We're not saying the 1900s. Okay.
In the year 1985, I was born.
1999. We were all partying like it was the year 1999.
Yeah.
Thanks, Victorian Prince.
Y2K was looming around the corner. Nobody knew what was going on.
Okay. No, your mannerisms and everything. So I did go to Christmas Eve mass with my dad, and there was a woman who was doing that as she was reading.
Oh my gosh.
She was just gesturing and everything. I don't even remember the passages that she read, but it was, I turned to my dad and I'm like, are we at a poetry slam right now? Like, and she was just, like, whoa, and then whoa, whoa. I was like, oh.
And then Joseph said, Mary,
basically,
how did you become pregnant?
It's not mine. Yeah, but that just funny. Your gestures and mannerisms just made me think of that. And she was definitely, I was just like, okay.
She was feeling it.
Maybe
Good
she
for
thought
her.
there was a talent scout there.
Oh, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
All right.
Anyway, yeah.
By the way, Megan, I really want to just tell you what I got you for Christmas because there is a time stamp. Amy, you know, I told you what I got her.
You too?
Mm-hmm.
Just to let you know what's happening here, when you watch the video version, it'll make more sense. But Amy wanted to tell Megan what she got her for Christmas, only Megan's son had figured out that she was in the basement, and so he was standing at the top of the stairs. And so she had to sit in the room in the dark and not making any noise because she didn't want him to hear her. So you're going to hear Megan whispering. She is trying to contain her excitement at what the gift that Amy got for her is. This is podcasting ASMR. We should do that. Today on the Dead Files, we will be talking about season 8, episode 11. Just kidding. Oh, yeah. We got some
Should I
time,
just-
though.
I know, but what if she makes plans?
Why don't you just tell her? But then she'll yell real loud, and we don't want her to yell real loud right now because she'll be real excited.
Megan, it's up to you.
Do you want to hear?
Nod or shake your head. Well, you know how there's a sold out show coming up in April?
You shut your fucking mouth.
Also, this is not obvious in the recording, but what the gift is tickets to the live show of the podcast that they both really love called And This Is Why We Drink. And Megan is flipping out because she loves Em and Christine.
So will you be my date with my friend Allison who went with us last time?
I told you she's going to scream out loud.
Uh-huh.
I think you did good, Amy. That's a good one.
There's something else too, but
I don't
Yes.
even care.
uh,
Oh shit. We're gonna see Em and Christine, and I'm gonna fangirl so fucking hard.
and I'm gonna pretend to not know her at that point.
For sure.
Yeah, you will, because she's going to want to get her picture taken with her. I went with her for Wine and Crime. I have first
Okay, yep.
whatever
It was
experience with
embarrassing
this.
for Amy.
No, it was okay. It was
Lucy
okay.
had her baby.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, are they friends again?
No.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think
Damn.
they can. I don't know if they can fix that.
Damn.
Yeah.
They can
That's a
still do
riff.
the show together?
I don't know.
Wow. That's too bad.
Oh my God, Amy, you're the very fucking best. You're the very fucking best. All right.
What's the theater?
Is it the Fitzgerald? Fitzgerald, I think.
That's
Fitzgerald
where it
is
was
nice.
last time.
It's real deep. Oh, you've been there. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's real steep. So every seat is good.
Isn't that
So
where
we're-
Wine and Crime were at too?
No, they were downtown. They were at Pantages. No, was it Pantages? They were downtown because remember we almost got knocked over by
Oh, yeah.
some guy running from the police.
Oh yeah, I bought these back in November. Whew.
Fitzgerald is in St. Paul.
Oh, you've been really holding on to that
Oh
secret.
my God, that's why I'm like, I gotta get them to you, but I don't know when I'm gonna see you.
I know.
And I don't want you to make plans for April 5th.
April
Okay.
5th.
Best day ever.
Oh, it's at the Fillmore. It's the Fillmore.
Fillmore.
You're the best.
Ask now to get that day afternoon off. So you can go
I
home and do
should.
your hair and everything. So you look all cute.
hmm
First of all, I always look cute.
That's right. That's true. You're right.
It was really hard for me to not scream, just so you know.
I know. I saw your face and I love it.
If you're a regular listener, you know we love our 3 Spirit drinks.
They are the non-alcoholic spirit drinks that are taking the world by storm.
3 Spirit is a range of 3 distinct drinks, each with its own unique flavor and effect.
The Livener is a refreshing and invigorating drink that is perfect for starting your day or night.
The Social Elixir is a smooth and sophisticated drink that's perfect for sharing with friends.
And the nightcap is a calming and relaxing drink that's perfect for winding down before bed.
All 3 drinks are made with plant-based ingredients and are free from alcohol, gluten, and sugar. They are also vegan and ethically sourced.
So, whether you're looking for a delicious and refreshing drink to enjoy on its own, or a sophisticated non-alcoholic alternative to cocktails, 3 Spirit is the perfect choice for you.
Try 3 Spirit today and discover the difference. Visit us.3spiritdrinks.com and use the promo code The Activity Continues for 15% off your entire order. Cheers!
That was our best one yet. Anyways, I'm sorry. We've been yammering out.
Yeah, we
Yep.
should probably start. Hi, Ghosty fam. Welcome to The Activity Continues, a podcast where 3 soul friends talk about all things paranormal. Ghosts, hauntings, psychics, movies, TV shows, especially the Dead Files, and lately, squirrel spirits, or at least AP and I have been talking about that.
Yes.
And other spooky and spooky adjacent things as well. We also like to interview people in the paranormal community, as well as past Dead Files clients and other interesting people. And sometimes we even tell your stories. I'm Amy, and please say hello to Amy P, aka AP, who is going to tell you what we are doing this week, and most importantly, why. Though you'll know if you heard our last episode. You'll know why.
Hello, and thanks, Amy. And I don't know about you guys. Today is January 8th that we're recording, which also marks the first Monday in two weeks and first full week of work in 3 weeks that has been worked.
I hate it.
And anyone else just feeling it?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because it was the longest day
Yeah.
today.
I worked about
you
3
want me to
hours
work-
extra today.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You want me to work a whole week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Mondays? Who works Mondays anymore?
I know.
What is this?
So that's kind of where we've been at today.
Yes.
But today we are going to be talking about Influence to Kill, season 8, episode 11, and it aired September 1st of 2017. And I'm pretty sure the Cosmos chose this episode for us, or the days of the day after Christmas, which is Boxing Day for many of our listeners.
Yeah.
And I'll say my only productive action of the day was seriously confusing myself and Amy.
Which, for the record, is my job. So
I know.
Don't do it again.
I took over.
Don't do it again.
Mercury was still in retrograde at the time.
Yep.
But the
Or in the
This was
Cosmos,
in the microwave.
yes. But the Cosmos definitely chose a really interesting episode for us. It had a little bit of everything. So we'll say hello to Megan, who's going to give us a little bit of our content warning.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're all doing great today. We have kind of a lot of content warnings today. We have murder with an axe, or as I like to call it, an axe murder, child death from illness, death in childbirth, train accidents. Oh my. I don't think there's anything else,
I
but
think
if it comes up,
The only other thing I would add in is maybe that there's a child in present who is being
Oh,
tormented.
yes, that's
In
true.
the client family. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one to
Yep.
add in. But as always, please check the show notes, because if we talk about anything else, Amy will add that into the show notes that we
Mhm.
might not put in at the top of the episodes. So please,
Yep.
please check the show notes just to make sure that we didn't miss anything that you might not want to hear.
That's right.
Although the beauty, the melodious sound of our voice should make anything
That should be.
bearable.
We can make anything sound good, right?
True story. In 2 weeks, we will be celebrating our 100th episode. Can you even believe it? I sure can't.
Not crazy.
I know. We do have a treat for you. We don't know yet. But we're gonna cook up
We don't
something
know
real
what it
good.
is. We'll
No.
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Listen, we're 3 of the most brilliant minds
That's
of the
right.
21st century. We can come
Almost
up
a
with something.
think tank.
Yeah, in Minnesota, in the 20-mile radius around where we live.
Maybe.
Close.
I don't know. There's some smart people in my neighborhood.
I know.
I'd have to go to another neighborhood. Okay.
Okay.
Are we ready?
I think so.
All right.
Are you ready?
I wrote an overview for this one because AP ended up having to do 2 in a row last time. I mean, 2 episodes in a row. She did it. So I will do this one. And then after that, we will get into it and start picking apart all the pieces. So this is Influence to Kill, season 8, episode 11. At least on Max and Discovery, and who the hell knows what it is on Hulu or Travel Channel anymore.
It was on demand. It was that as well.
Also, okay.
Yep.
It aired September 1st, 2017, and it takes place in Layton, Utah. A man named Craig is the client, and he's worried because he bought this house for his daughter and son-in-law and their son, but it's not exactly working out. They see shadow figures galore, hear footsteps, doors opening and closing, and worst of all, it's affecting the little boy who is 6.
That's the worst part. Yeah.
You know.
When they interviewed him,
Oh,
God, it was so sad.
I know.
It was rough.
They moved in, and then the mom and son moved out within a month because the activity was so bad. The dad stayed there in that house. However, this didn't seem to make a lick of difference because some of the bad shit followed mom and son back to dad's house. There is a lot here that doesn't make sense, and we'll get into it when we do the dive in, but I'll just finish this. I'll wrap up. So Amy sees several dead people, including 2 men who knew each other in life and did not get along. One of them is a perv and a murderer. She also sees an older woman and a Native American that they never speak of
They never
again.
talk about. No.
And then, portal alert. Yep. She finds a portal in the kids' room. So Steve finds out about a family who lived on the property and had a real string of bad luck, aka deaths involving children, childbirth, cancer, heart attack, and also more train-related deaths. Heart attack. She did say it like that too.
Yeah.
He also learns of a brutal double homicide.
Brutal.
They're always brutal. The mom feels like it's her fault that her son is in danger because the whole family has abilities and she feels like they are cursed. There are 2 wild sketches, and Amy tells them they need a strong psychic / Reiki master to cut the cords from the murder to the child. And then they need 6 mediums to close up the portal and move people. And Grandpa says they'll start first thing tomorrow. And guess what?
They did.
Surprise, surprise. They take all of Amy's advice, and the activity has ended.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen one where the activity has ended. I mean,
it's usually the activity is decreased while they're looking for.
There is a piece that I'm very interested in that could not have been told at that point in time if it continued, but we'll get into that when we talk through more of the stuff, because I have a quote in here from the reveal at that time as well.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to?
I felt so bad for Hayden when Steve was interviewing him, and I feel like he was
saw
seeing
something.
Absolutely.
Yep,
he saw something.
He actually startled and looked over his shoulder.
And he kept looking over his shoulder. But even his answers, when he was doing that, his answers were like,
they got really short.
Well, he was like looking off to the side.
Yes.
He was like, yeah.
Like something was telling him not to answer.
Yeah.
I would say maybe a third of the way into the interview, he saw something.
Yeah.
Something was there.
Yeah. And then he was afraid to talk.
Stay on Hayden for a minute here, because that was the boy's name. Craig says he's a terror now. Like, and Steve, and I agree with Steve on this one.
Yes.
Well, he's a kid. Kids are kind of terrors. I mean, we just listened to Megan tell us about how things are going on. And but then Craig's like, no, I believe he's possessed. Did feel like things were a little rehearsed with Craig. I didn't feel it from the rest of the family. Maybe he was just really nervous about being on. There was just something off in the way that he came across to me.
I felt that in the first scene though.
I got it in the reveal too, though.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I just got it in the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought he was very mechanical, and he sounded like he was saying, well, Steve, here's what like he was going to say, yes, that's what I saw.
Like he practiced it in the mirror.
I think,
and it's possible they just made him do it over and over again. We didn't have the sound on. Do that again, Craig.
Yeah.
And because he's not an actor, it came out weird.
There was just
probably
There's
what
just
it was.
something, and maybe he reminds me of somebody. I don't know. There was just something that I didn't feel it with the rest. I just felt like something like just off a little bit in the vibe that I was picking up. But in the reveal, when Amy tells them, "Hey, you need to find the compassionate, strong, psychic, and Reiki master to remove the cord
that's
from
what it was.
remove the cord from Hayden. They will attach the cord to themselves." And Amy says he's going to have PTSD from being bound to a dead guy who is psychotic. If you don't do this, he will grow up to become him. And Craig goes, "How will he act?" And Amy almost was like, he'll
Like a
be
fucking
better
murderer.
See, and that's no, like Craig was like, "Well, if we do all that, how is he going to be?
Oh,
How is he going to
okay.
act?" And
How would she know?
but that was like Amy kind of like seemed like, "You fucking idiot. He'll be better. Like if you do this stuff, he's going to be better," which also meant like he's going to have PTSD. You need to get him help.
Yeah.
And that part was not included in that. And that's the piece that to me, I was like, yes, they did everything else, but did they follow up with therapy or something else?
That's true. We didn't hear about how the kid is now.
I'm assuming the mom seemed like she hid some of that in her life and maybe dealt with it in the wrong way. Well, because she said, "Well, I knew there was ghosts in this house when he bought it. I just didn't know it was this bad."
Yeah.
Because she saw them.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of where I'm like, well, maybe he is getting that help. There was just something about, and the drawing of the body being sucked into the wall.
Yeah, that was freaky.
And
that was creepy.
Yeah. I think he was just like, that can't happen. That can't happen. And it's like, well, it is what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they said she called it a doorway, not a portal, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was a doorway to the shadow worlds or shadow realm or something like that. And she said it was opened by a child. We don't know if it was the child in the house.
No,
I assumed it was him. I assumed it was Hayden.
I would assume that as well, but they've only been there 6 months before.
Right.
And again, was it 6 months that they had been living there, or 6 months till they called the dead files to come in? I'm not sure.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit already, but from our experience, when we talk to clients, we know that when you write your letter to the dead files, it's sometimes 2 years before they come.
Right.
Or at least a year before they get there, and then another 8 months before, 8 to 10 months before the episode's on the air. So if he's saying to Steve, "We moved into this house 6 months ago," what? I don't get.
How did they get there so fast?
Yeah,
and that's
either the dead files beat feet and got there quickly, or
they might have, because Steve has such a soft spot for kids.
Yeah, it's true. I'm sure they do bump the kid stuff.
Yeah.
The kid ones up.
Yeah,
because there's a kid. I know Ghost Hunters does that too.
And who knows what, and this was several years ago. So who knows what all of it was.
Right.
I was just looking through my notes and stuff and just seeing more about what Amy was talking about in that doorway. And she said, it's an old man is losing himself to the house, which is the sketch, which is absolutely horrifying when you look at it.
It's terrifying.
It's like, if you haven't seen it, if you've ever seen the movie The Blob, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like people just being absorbed into something.
Yeah. It shows the back of his head and his arms and then his feet. And everything else is in the wall.
And then she
He's being
said,
absorbed by the house.
The house is overrun with shadow people. A doorway was open to their dimension in the green room. And Amy said in kind of a sing-songy voice, "I really hated being in that room." And then she said they can physically take him into their dimension. And that is what she was worried about, is that he would be pulled into this doorway and physically be gone. No more.
She said that it could take kids and elderly people. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Maybe you guys can help me figure out why this doesn't make sense to me. But why are Emily and Hayden still at Dad's house when the fucking pervert ghost went to their house and he's there now? Why don't go back to your house?
I think because
he's following them.
He follows them, and
Well, so then
and
why does it
Emily-
matter where he stays? Why doesn't
Emily doesn't get as attacked as much as she does within the house. She said when
Yes.
she's in that house, if she's
Yeah.
there longer than 20 minutes, she gets punched.
right?
Yep.
Again,
So
why wouldn't
seeing-
she have gotten punched during the reveal? Or
I know, I
why
wondered
wouldn't
that too.
something have happened during the reveal? Or when she was talking to Steve? You know, took more than 20 minutes.
Right.
I did wonder that. Yeah.
And if it had happened, they would have put it on
Oh,
because it would have been
of
good
course
TV.
They would have.
So I'm a little dubious. It
Yeah.
just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I thought it was also interesting, and maybe there just wasn't space for Justin at Craig's house, but it was just kind of,
Well, it was him. He wouldn't leave.
He wouldn't leave. He's going to stay and fight.
it's to be clear, they're also on the same street.
Yeah,
So
they
for
are.
people to understand where these are, if you haven't watched the episode, the houses are just a couple doors down from each
Like
other.
it's not like they have to drive 20 minutes to
No.
get to Dad's house.
But I think that she was staying with her dad, with Hayden, because of the things that were that was happening to Hayden more so than what was happening to her, because he
okay.
was getting grabbed, and he wasn't sleeping in the night because things were grabbing his covers, were grabbing
Yeah.
him, were touching him.
She did say they reached up under the covers to grab him
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
reveal. And when she said that, Amy got a terrified look
Yeah.
on her
Yep.
face.
Yeah. I got the impression that was still happening at the house that they're living at now.
Oh, I didn't
Because
get
that pervert goes
impression,
over to
but-
that house.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't the pervert that was grabbing him, though. It was the
It was
shadow
the portal.
people.
The pervert had just attached himself to Hayden,
Yeah.
but the
Yes,
shadow people
psychotic,
were what
because
appealing.
he wanted to put the thoughts and things into Hayden. So he was
Mhm.
Right.
and
Right.
he was putting those, causing Hayden to be,
And that's where the cords came from too.
yep. Yeah, he had attached himself to Hayden, but the
So
thing
Hayden was still
grabbing
being
him,
tormented, but it
Yes.
was different.
he wasn't
Okay.
being physically grabbed and pulled into things
Okay.
and terrified of.
But yeah, I just
shadow
thought it was
people.
really scary when they were interviewing him and you could see the second he
Yeah.
saw something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
His whole demeanor changed. Before he was kind of sitting up and then he sort of hunched down.
Yeah. And he
And
was.
his
And he
head
kept-
was down and he
Yep.
wasn't looking at Steve.
Mhm.
It was really eerie.
It was like he was taking cues from something
Yes.
else. I got the
Yeah.
impression that something was saying, "Don't say anything."
Yes,
Don't
because
say
he kept
anything.
looking out of the corner of his eye
Mhm.
over to the side. It was really scary, in my
It was.
opinion.
It
Yeah.
was.
I'm looking at my notes on the people, just on Amy's investigation. They always have her start off with something strong, like something's wrong here, which is what
Mhm.
this one was. Living people have a lot of horrible experiences. Sees a living boy that's out of control with a lot of rage, an older dead man that hates everyone, calls their names, watches them, and is becoming part of the house. Then the young dead guy projects cold, pushes people away with emotions, doesn't want them there. He's a voyeur, a pervert, a predator, causes bad headaches. Women are uncomfortable,
Is he the one that hates women?
and he travels.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said she was getting a living woman who's of a similar age, who's feeling responsible, or that her family is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Emily said.
Yep.
Yep. And then Amy says she hears magic over and over and over again. The shadow figures are coming from another dimension.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know that it was, this is where I'm not sure that it was Hayden that unintentionally opened
Yeah,
this
I don't-
doorway, because when she was saying stuff like magic, like, was a teenager that was there
Mhm.
before, or somebody, like
Was Brittany there?
She's just
I
doing
tried-
kitchen magic, Megan. It's fine.
I didn't write that on the wall, but I do black out.
That's not my handwriting.
I don't
But-
remember doing that.
yeah.
We're getting
Here's
lots of
the-
mileage from her.
Here's the book my dad wrote.
But in case it's on Amazon right now.
It's on Amazon. Use discount code The Dead Files. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Don't. That's not going to work
Don't.
for you.
No.
That won't work. No.
Amazon doesn't have promo codes.
No.
No.
But Amy did say on there too, in Hayden's room, that it was a bad room, really bad.
Mhm.
From the closet, she's never seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
A really sick feeling, and they could take him in there and just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes
I-
me wonder how many people who have disappeared have been taken to portals.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Just something to think about.
there aren't that many people who have disappeared that have really disappeared, like in the blink of an eye.
Amelia Earhart, DB Cooper.
There's
That's a
some
good
Bermuda
one.
Triangle shit for sure.
Mhm.
But like
Well, they think
when she
that-
said that, I was like,
They
I
think
don't
Amelia Earhart was probably eaten by crabs.
ugh.
I hope, ooh, that's
Coconut
a
crabs.
rough way to go. They're big fuckers.
I saw something, they don't know for sure, but I saw something that had decent evidence that there was artifacts from what looked like her plane.
Mhm.
And yeah, those things will eat themselves.
That's gross.
Mhm.
Man, nature's dirty.
I mean, you can only hope that she was already dead when she hit the water.
Probably not.
Not what
Anyways.
they saw.
Mm.
Mm,
Okay.
Anyways,
Anywho,
going back to other things, one of the things that I'm seeing constantly in this is Steve's investigations. There's always somebody who's got a tragic string of deaths in their family.
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
and how many of those are like, well, he had a heart attack. He was 68.
And I mean, a lot of the time when they're interviewing, it's like they're talking about them. It's like the 1800s, the 1700s.
I know. That's what I was going to say. People dropping like flies back then. They didn't have,
You
you know,
step on a nail, you're
medicine.
dead.
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, really.
You have a child,
So
you're dead.
a string of deaths doesn't necessarily equate paranormal.
Right.
Yeah, and like they tied it to this Martha Morgan and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, death centered around her," and it's like her niece died as a baby, then her husband died crossing the train tracks, and then
Yeah.
somebody else
That
was
niece
T-boned,
was so
and then
sad.
Yeah.
17
years
days
old.
old
17 days, yeah.
days.
Of bronchitis.
Mhm.
Poor little thing.
Which just proves our point. Like nowadays, bronchitis, is it dangerous for a 17-day-old baby? Of course it is. But it's not fatal.
yeah, hopefully.
But it was
Not
back
usually.
then.
Yep.
Because, well, hopefully, yes, you're right. But there's a lot better chance of surviving now.
yes,
Oh,
And then we had the 2 train accidents, which both,
Mhm.
okay, so the first one, this genealogist, not gynecologist, I didn't think she was that great storyteller. Because
she wasn't.
as she's telling the story about the guy who, the first one that was hit by a train, she said he was crossing the tracks. And then she said he was T-boned. And I'm like, okay, I assume he was in a car then,
yeah,
not
yeah.
walking.
yeah. In
But
But she never
1928,
said that. It made it sound like he was walking, and then he was dragged by the train. But then when she said T-boned, I'm like, well, okay, he had to have been in a car,
Yep, and
That makes sense because you don't get T-boned when you're walking. You
right?
get
But she
hit.
should have said he was driving, not he was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he was crossing the tracks. Made it sound like he was walking, you know.
Yep.
So then the second train accident is this couple, Norma and Rex.
which were Martha's cousin and her boyfriend.
Yep.
Mhm.
He saw the train approaching and thought they could make it. Then he slammed on his brakes at the last minute and they were hit by the train. How do they know he slammed on his brakes at the last minute? He couldn't tell them that.
Well, unless they had witnesses that heard the
Mhm.
squealing of the tires or anything like that.
Could have been,
And if
but
they got to the scene and saw those tire marks, maybe that
But-
could tell them. But
But
The-
in 1920s, 1930s, I don't
I don't-
feel
and
like
how
you're
did they
getting
know
that big
he
a-
thought he could make it? My guess
Right.
is he just went, oh shit, and slammed his
A
brakes
train.
on.
Yeah.
Or the other one is that he just decided to take them both out.
That was my thought too. Is he did it on purpose. Yeah.
Mhm.
maybe she was going to break up with him. Maybe she
yeah.
was breaking up with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I went on
That's-
a date in high school. I went on a date with a friend who liked me more than a friend. I did
oh,
not reciprocate,
Mhm.
but he said, it'll just be friends, just friends going to a movie, just friends. And I said, okay,
Mm.
we were friends. I mean, I liked him as a
right,
friend.
right.
Didn't
Mhm.
want to, date him. And he was very persistent. And so I went to a movie with him, and then we were driving home and we had to go over a train track, and he went over and just sat on the train track while the train started coming.
Jesus Christ.
And like he was threatening me. And I screamed at him a few times, and he finally was like, oh, I'm just kidding.
What a joke.
Went. And I'll never forget that. It was horrible. And I'm like,
Where's he now? Is he in jail for murder? 'Cause
I
probably.
don't know. I don't know where he is now. Thank God I have no idea. I did see him at our 20-year high school reunion.
I bet he's in
But-
jail.
Like how in other ways when they're saying like, oh, he thought he could beat the train and that sort of stuff, like how many times have we heard stuff like that over the years of people who think they can, well, I'm just going to go around the barrier. I want to get in front of this. And it's like, well, you did get in front of it, just
And
not
then
the way
you
you
stayed
thought.
in front of it
Mhm.
and dead.
Yeah. Trains freak me out. There's no way I would try that on my own. Even
I
before
did
this happened
once
to
in
me.
high school because I was late. I was going to be late for my curfew because
Mhm.
I'd been hanging out with a boy.
Mm.
Cheated on me. I know. How could you ever cheat on me? I'm adorable. And I drove right in
Totally.
front of the train because I was going to be late.
Wow.
Don't do that, kids.
No,
Be
Nope,
late.
don't do that.
that's
Just be late.
that's- But
Or you'll
that
be
is
real late.
that is a teenage
Real,
brain
real
right
late.
there.
It is. It's teenage stupidity. It's not
Yeah.
bravery. It's
Yeah. And
stupidity.
that's, yeah.
Don't do it.
Teenage brain. Yep.
Teenage stupidity. Anywho, back to Martha.
Yeah. They really didn't say that much about Martha herself, just about her
No,
family
just about her
members.
family.
Just that
And-
she death centered around her because her mom died of stomach cancer and her dad died of a heart attack.
Heart attack. The
Heart
other thing that
attack.
bugged me about that was when they sat down with this genealogist,
Not a
she
gynecologist.
says, she goes, why'd you bring me here? She goes, well, Martha Morgan had a barn
Yeah.
just like this. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do
Yeah,
with
I
anything?
thought that
First of
was
all,
really
it's not her
stupid.
barn.
Yeah.
It's not her barn. Secondly, she probably had, a car.
She was probably a
too.
farmer.
Should we have done it in the, gone and had the interview in the
Yeah.
car? I mean, what? It didn't make any sense
I
to
know.
me.
That was so stupid.
It was really dumb.
Come on, Luana.
I'm sure it wasn't her fault. It's the producers.
Mhm.
But yeah, they probably got a deal by, some barn wanted to have the show filmed there or something. Yeah.
This is why Martha was brought up, though, is because of what comes from the former cop. Martha's
Yes.
cousin-in-law
Right.
killed the father-in-law, his wife, and his mother-in-law after an argument. And that was all, yep. That was all centered around Martha again. But it happened to be just like the Morgan property,
Mhm.
which was established
Yeah.
there around 1892 is what I have. But
Yeah.
yeah, they said he left the baby 4 months old, tried to kill himself, and his gun jammed. He used a crazy defense and then was executed by firing squad.
Which,
Yep.
that's a rough way to be executed.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably pretty quick, but probably pretty scary to stand there with all those people aiming
Well, they usually blindfold them.
firearms at you. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Well, there was there was a female spy in World War II, and maybe it wasn't a
Mata
spy.
Hari?
She was when she was executed, and she just was like, "I bet I can fire better than you." Still, like she was taunting those who were on the firing squad.
I love it.
That sounds like Mata Hari. I didn't get what happened to the baby. They never
Yeah, I
said
didn't
what
either.
They
happened.
never said anything else.
They left the baby. When he ran out after murdering everybody, he left the
Mhm.
baby alive in the house.
Yep.
But we don't hear anything about like who took the baby, because the
Mhm.
baby didn't have parents or grandparents.
Nope.
Mhm.
So that would be
I wonder if the
What happened
baby
to
went to
that?
his parents.
I wonder.
Probably.
Yeah,
Which
who knows?
probably isn't great. I mean, they didn't do a great job raising him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Something
goes
like
into
that.
the whole nature versus nurture argument, which we could be here forever
Yeah.
talking about that.
Yeah.
But
And interesting thing, I don't know when it changed with firing squads, but most of the times not everybody had a live round, so that they wouldn't know who was the one that actually was the
Sure.
lethal shot.
All
Okay.
right.
So
back to the show.
do we want to talk about the Mormon?
Sure.
So this was when he was talking to historian Robert Goebel. The
Mhm.
first property owner was a Mormon, John Richard Barnes. Let's see what's interesting. He was in a militia having to do with taking land from the natives, which
Yeah.
Who wasn't at that
Amy
time?
did see. Right, I know.
I mean,
Amy did see a Native American, but then they didn't talk about it again.
Yeah, he was a hardcore Mormon.
Yep. And Steve did ask if he got in trouble for being a polygamist. And I thought that was an odd question, but then he obviously had the answer ready to give. So he was
mhm.
told to ask that. He had three
Plus,
wives.
I mean,
and-
it
Well,
is
that was-
technically a crime
that
to be
was
a
a crime,
polygamist.
yeah.
So
But yeah, he was arrested for polygamy and sentenced to 3 months and given a $350 fine. But he was pardoned by President Grover Cleveland. And then they showed the article in the newspaper, which was actually an article about something else. But then it said at the end, these people were also arrested, and this man was in there. And it showed his crime was cohabitation. But then the next guy on the list was his crime was bigamy. So I'm wondering what the difference was back then between cohabitation. Bigamy, doesn't that mean married to more than one?
Yeah.
Cohabitation, just
is
living
probably
together?
just, in sin.
But they
I
said that he was married to these 3 women. But, he can't be legally married, just like
No,
Sister
to
Wives
one.
guy.
Well,
Oh,
but his
God,
first
Cody?
wife and his daughter both died in childbirth.
I did a quick inflation calculator, $350. I didn't know the year, so I just did 1855 is about $12,377.57 today. That's a big
lot.
chunk of money,
Yeah.
especially for somebody who's, a militia and probably not in a very lucrative position.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big chunk of change.
Sure is.
Yep.
All right. What else?
Well, we did have the mugshot. Steve brought out the mugshot of
The pervert.
No,
Yep.
well, yeah, if we're connecting
Delbert.
that to Delbert Green.
Oh,
Yeah.
John
I don't know.
Richard Barnes.
No.
Did he bring out his mugshot?
No. So the mugshot was of the murderer, who is Delbert Green.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't know if they ever made the connection that Delbert was the pervert or not.
Yes,
I
think they did.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the young guy that messes with the living,
With the
gives him
hat.
headaches. He's a predator. There's a lot of dark stuff going on. He can leave with the women.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
I
Delbert.
didn't remember if she actually made the connection, but she did say
Yeah,
she
I
did
think they
say
did.
that was one of the people that she saw. I just wasn't sure if it was the you guys,
Yeah,
I watched
I-
this 2 weeks ago with 3 other episodes.
I just watched it a couple
That's
days ago.
fair.
She, I'm 99% sure she did because
Okay.
that's in all my notes. That's what I have is that it was that guy.
Yep.
And she said, "This is uncomfortable. This is disgusting."
Yeah.
Mhm.
He watches, he stalks them. He's a voyeur and a fucking pervert. Her words.
Yep.
Yep. She's not wrong.
Mm-mm.
No.
Gross. Yeah. So, okay, we should talk about the sketches so that when we do the in the video version, I can put
And-
them in.
Did you guys notice, by the way, that Matt had hair in this
Yes, I did.
episode?
Yeah.
I like Matt with hair. He's so cute.
He's cute without hair too.
Mhm.
He's just
He
cute.
is, but I just like him with hair.
Yeah. Well,
I
so
mean,
we
I did
already-
marry a man who's bald, so I don't have anything
Yeah, so
against
did I.
bald people.
Well, mine wasn't bald when I married him, but he's bald
Oh.
now.
Mine was.
Um,
Okay, so sketch.
We talked about the male who's sinking into the
Mhm.
wall. That's
Hate it.
very creepy.
Face
Yeah, it's
first.
scary. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
face first.
I feel like because
Yeah.
it's
That
face
makes it
first into the wall.
worse.
Yes, it makes it worse because I don't because you can't see him, and that's why like they're having
I
a hard
can't
time
explain it. Yeah,
understanding him and that sort of stuff because he's just like
slowly getting absorbed into the wall.
Well,
Eaten
and
by the
and
house.
what's his name?
Thank you. That's what I meant.
Craig, grandfather,
Yes.
said that when they said that about the guy being absorbed into the wall, he said, "Oh, Hayden sees a guy who
Mhm.
crosses his arms and
And
leans
folds
into
back
the
into the
wall."
wall. Yeah.
So he's going
Yep.
back first, but I'm
Yep.
sure if he's going in and out of the wall, probably, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's head first.
Maybe
and
that's
sometimes
just
it's
what at that moment he was doing when Amy saw him.
not. Yeah.
Either way, it's not great.
no.
and-
uh-uh.
I feel like and maybe I'm wrong, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy, or did I miss something?
He's not a bad guy. No,
Yeah,
no.
he's
just-
the stepfather that Delbert
Yeah.
Green killed.
Killed. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I thought. I didn't think he was a bad guy. He was just unfortunately getting and Amy even said, and he doesn't want that.
Yeah,
and my thought was, well, who would?
but he
Yeah.
he hates everyone there.
Well,
It's
I mean, it is
older-
his house, but
Older dead man hates everyone. He's in his 50s to 60s, calls their names, watches them, but he's becoming part of the house.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, and this house I think is newer than when he was in that area. But
Yeah. It's probably not the same house.
Yep.
Yeah. let's see what else we want to
And
do.
then
I
the
noted.
bedroom closet portal. She did that sketch.
Yes. That's the other
That
sketch.
is terrifying.
Oh, the kid's foot hanging off the bunk bed, and you could see the hand coming out of the.
It's just
doorway,
a hole
the
with
closet.
a bunch of hands coming out of it, and
So
one
creepy.
is grabbing onto a foot and pulling him in.
Yeah, that's scary.
Thanks. I
Poor
hate
guy.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
poor guy. I did note that in the reveal that Craig and his daughter Emily have the same mouth. They have the same very brown shaped mouth. I'm like, they're definitely related.
Yep.
I noted that there must be times when, and I've noticed this in other ones, and Amy, I mentioned it to you, that when Steve's talking to people and his back is turned, it sounds like it's more of a voiceover than in the conversation.
Yes.
So I don't know if there,
yeah.
and it happened when he was talking in the interviews. And then it happened because you can hear, like, we hear Amy do voiceovers at different times, but you can hear like there's a pattern change in the sound.
Mhm.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, like, he says something. So it makes you wonder, like, was he watching it? It was like, oh, I don't want to say that. I want to say something else.
Mhm.
Or are they cutting in and saying, Steve, this didn't sound great. Just
Mhm.
redo it here.
Yep.
Probably
Because it
him.
also happened in the, it happens in the reveal,
In the
a bunch
reveal.
of times
I know.
too, and
I
they'll
made a
flash the
note.
people up.
I'm not finding it right now, but yeah, I wrote, this sounds like a voiceover because they weren't showing his face. They were showing someone else as if they
Yep.
were talking to him
Mhm.
or he was talking to them, but it didn't jive. It didn't.
And I
match
wonder,
up.
and I also, it could be that they answer, he asks a question and then their answer doesn't connect really to the question. So then they're like, actually, let's have you ask this question because it makes
Mhm.
more sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
it
sure
was
that
really
happens.
interesting that Justin wasn't at the reveal.
I thought so too, because he's the one that lives in the damn house.
Yeah.
And he sees stuff. It's not like
Yeah.
he's denying that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was odd that he wasn't there. I mean,
But
we
we've
just
heard
saw one where
before
they
that-
had 3 people.
Yeah,
So I don't know
I was
why
gonna
they
say
couldn't have had him.
Yeah.
Maybe he had to watch Hayden.
Maybe
We don't know if
her
did
mom's
Craig
around.
ever,
Yeah.
I was going to say, did Craig ever mention his wife?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So maybe. But I mean, Hayden's old enough that they could have done it in a different room. And
Yeah.
he could, like, they could have done it in the living room and he could have been in the
Green room where
dining
the, the
Yeah,
things
just
wanna
put him
steal
in the
him.
room with the portal. No, he probably didn't want to be in that house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can see that. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a different answer than just that
Mhm.
Yeah.
dad
Yeah.
had to babysit. So, but
And when
who
they
knows?
showed the first sketch, I fucking Steve, how he always leads them with it.
Oh,
It bugs me so much.
this is
so
going to blow your
much.
mind. I wrote, stop doing that, Steve, in my notes.
Oh, you're gonna lose this. You're gonna lose it with this.
You're going to lose it when you see this. Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna like this. It's like, come on now.
And I think part of it is to, like, they have him look at it to show that he and Amy haven't talked about it yet.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think
agree
I
with
would
you, Amy, that they should have the client open up
open it.
the
Yes.
folder. Yeah.
I think he should hand it to them and say,
Yes.
I haven't looked at this yet.
Yes.
And
This
show
came
that
from the
it's
sketch.
sealed.
This came directly from the sketch artist
Yep.
that Amy worked with. But
And
you
have
need
it
to
like
you need to
sealed,
open
like
it.
glued or something. Because I think right now in the manila.
He's either using, like, it's either the loop sometimes, but a lot of times he's using a letter opener to
Yeah.
Okay.
open the top of it.
But
I just-
still, he could have
every
looked at it and then
episode.
they sealed it. I mean, anything could be happening.
Exactly.
Every episode. Oh, you're not gonna like this. Oof. I don't even want to show this to you.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just let them think about it?
Now that I think about it, what I just said about, I think they want to really show that he and Amy aren't talking about cases
Yeah.
or
Which they
anything.
can do,
I think that's
but-
why they're doing it. But yes, I agree. It has
Then
been one of the things that have bugged me since the beginning of watching this is, why does he always have to tell them what they
Lead
should be
'em.
seeing?
Yeah. Well, and it's telling them what he expects of them to react
Yes.
from it,
Yes.
So they're like, oh, I better react.
Yeah,
I better
yeah,
make
yeah.
a big deal out of this.
Well,
Yeah.
because there are some of those that you see and you're just like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's weird, but
Mhm.
But it's not terrifying. But then there's I don't know.
or the sketches of people who they don't actually look like the ones that we're being told that they're supposed to be side
Yeah.
by side with the pictures.
Mhm.
That's a Jed Ringer. Fucking is not Steve.
No, it's
That
not.
was a bloated
That
Elvis.
last one we did.
Yeah,
my
they
God,
both
that
have
last one.
eyes. Yeah, you're right. It's a dead ringer. They both have eyes and a nose. Wow.
Well, they're
They
both
could be
human.
twins.
That's about
Yeah.
where the line is.
One's got a butt chin and
Uh-huh.
one doesn't.
Yeah. One's male and one's female. Come on, Steve.
But it was a good episode. Had a lot of things.
It really
a lot
was.
of hit a lot of the check boxes.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought that Emily was very relatable.
Yes.
I
You know,
felt really
she
bad for
was
her.
very genuine. She was probably one of the most genuine.
Well, because she felt like it's her fault.
Yes,
and
'cause
then
she's-
you know,
she
and-
wants
so
to protect.
bad.
Yes.
because she said I knew there were ghosts here when he bought it because I saw them, but I didn't
Mhm.
think it was this bad.
Mhm.
Well, how could you?
Right.
Right. And that's
in a-
also what made me wonder if the portal was open after they moved in, or the doorway or whatever
Before they moved in.
was open.
Or
No,
after?
it was opened after. If it wasn't that bad when they went to look at the house, or I assume
Mhm.
that's when she saw it.
Well, I would
And
assume
then-
that if you're wanting to lure things back in, you don't show yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we don't.
Victims in.
Yep. There's no way for us to know
Right.
who or how that came through. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know she said that she's had experiences all her
Mhm.
life, and it sounded like maybe she didn't fully share that for a while and kind of kept it in. So hopefully
Right.
she's, working with her son as well to
Mhm.
to help him through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he is a sensitive. Amy said he's a
Mhm.
sensitive. And she said
No
that's
shit,
partly
we can see that.
Yeah. And she said that's partly why
They want him.
the guy chose him, because he's easy pickings. He's a kid, he's vulnerable, and he's a sensitive.
Open. Yep.
He's open.
He doesn't know how to
It's
close it down.
easy for him to
Mhm.
pick to attach to him. He
Yeah.
has no defense.
Yep.
He's 6.
Yep.
The world hasn't destroyed him the way it has us adults.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good episode. 10 out of 10 recommend to watch if you are interested in watching an episode, which
Yeah,
you should
it's
be,
good.
because they're all good.
They're all
Right.
good.
All
dog
right.
plays.
Well, maybe not all good. I mean, they're all
Well,
good, but they're all
They're all good, but some are good in terms
We
of
can pick
entertaining,
apart.
and others are
Some are
good.
good and some are gooder.
gooder.
And some are goodest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We really, really appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. Next week, we are going to be talking to Laura, who is the Dead
Woohoo.
Files client from season 4, episode 10, called Bound.
Mhm.
And based on her intake answer form that we give to all of our people, she is going to be a hoot and a half.
Yeah.
I
she's gonna
cannot
be a lot of
wait
fun.
to
A
talk
hoot
to
and a
her.
holler.
A hoot
Yep.
and a holler, and a give
It's
a
a really
little.
good episode too.
Yes.
When I first
Yep.
reached out to her and she was agreed to do it, I watched her episode and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
Yes.
I remember this episode a little bit, but I haven't rewatched it since, I don't know, when I caught it a while ago, but
Yeah.
I don't remember it because I have a bad memory.
Well, you might not have seen it either. I mean, it's
It's true.
you haven't seen all of them. Amy
No, I haven't.
has seen all of them, but she saw them as they were coming out.
correct.
Yeah.
So it's been years.
I've seen them all, but I watched them all within, like, I was watching a Dead Files episode every single day when I first found the show. And I started at the beginning and I went in
Mhm.
order and I watched them all. But that was 2 years ago 2 to 3 years ago when I
No,
started.
that was
it.
during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was.
So that was almost
So-
4 years ago, you
Yeah.
guys.
Isn't that weird?
Doesn't
my
feel
God.
that long ago.
Yeah.
That's because 2 years didn't exist.
I
That's
know.
true.
We just sat around and drank and did Zoom calls and
Yeah.
watched a lot of TV. That's what I
Yeah.
did anyway.
It's not a lot different. than
Not that there's
today.
anything wrong with that. If someone would pay me
No.
to do that, I would
Yep.
absolutely do that again.
No, we are not
And not
judging
afford
anybody
it.
who does that. We're
Mm-mm.
just saying it makes time not matter.
Goes a little slower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next
Next
week.
time.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. and join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media, and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.